like how the last map went, but util being sent on both sides. The Prowler giving away BADlove's position, but they're still wishing to hold back for as long as possible. I think at this point it looks like you may see a late rotation. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, Krem. Both sides just really getting the feelers out for one another, working out what's going on, what's the vibe, what will the vibe of this map be. BADlove ready and waiting for what could potentially be a duo swing here. Yes, indeed it is. KillerS taking them out, so that's going to alleviate some of that pressure that was being sent towards them from Shower, and the long rotation as the timer is ticking down. This could be a little bit risky.
Well, it could be 30 seconds left. Whimp now also goes back for the big rotation rounds away. He's gone at the wrong time, though. Logi alone backside now. He may have Whimp with him in time. That flash is going to try and buy a bit of space. It'll do just that, but Visio is there to deliver that killing blow. Logi only good for one as Visio doubles down. That will enable the plant for Fancy. How will Revenant now fare with Paradox and Blackhawk on the flank? Blackhawk, his first kill will be everything. Good for the first, but this is while Paradox gets traded out into the 1 versus 3, and Fancy aren't even giving an inch for Blackhawk to work with here.
They're not at all. They're not even willing to try and contest these angles. They're just holding them as safe as they can. They know where he is. They know he's in that hookah area, so they know that he has to drop down. That should give somewhat of a little bit of an audio cue. And there we go, nizzy to finish things off. This, you know, a bit of respect in a way towards each other as well. Really trying to play into each other as much as possible.
Looks like Fancy going relatively quiet for the time being. YESicaN only holding on to the Ghost here, so a little bit of a bold investment, or lack of investment from him. With Revenant instead having the Chamber Aggress that we spotted out by the Fade. For BADlove, at least it's an ult orb he can secure as he retreats to Showers. Logi now also takes a bit of damage for his peek on long, but Revenant, they stack this really effectively. All 4 players on beat. However, BADlove, a bit of an overextension. With BADlove's death now, that A-site's completely unguarded, which means Revenant have to push. Flash through the smoke could be perfect. There's that flash. There's the swing. There's the counter swing from Fizzy. He's only good for 1, though. As YESicaN also has to get the hell out of there. He's 20 HP. He does have killers to aid him. But do they expect Paradox there as well? Yes, they do. There's a quick shutdown, and with that, we're going to be seeing Fancy make it to a juggle of Vandals to try and get it to the Fade in time. In times, it's ultimately you've got to land those shots, and it was a little bit of a scrap fest there, but again, we saw how scrappy things could be in that last map. I expect more of the same. Massive, aggressive collapse here now into this A site. A full team sweep with tons of utility behind them. They don't want to waste any time. They want to get stuck in. BADlove being pushed back a little bit into Showers by that flash utility. And that's really going to cause a bit of a ruckus as KillerS gets that pick onto Blackhawk. And they get a second one here. They know the sky is around the corner. That plant is going to go down. And there we go. Trades all across the board, to be honest. Paradox and BADlove really trying to maintain this positioning. But Fancy are just there. They're just there, ready and waiting for them to fall into their open arms. Tell you what, for nizzy and Suka, that was an absolutely perfect performance. Both bouncing off one another's angles, both trading one or attempting to trade what would be the first point of contact, but there's no need for trade because no one died. Really, really strong round from Fancy. And for Revenant, that's where the 7-0 up without any form of repartee.
100%. So a bit of early utility being placed. Just give a little bit of cover from these lines of sight. And again, the aggression that's coming through from this Shower area. Already, BADlove really trying to push these players. But Suka ready and waiting. And again, because of the space between Paradox and BADlove there, the trade can't come through. I feel like we might see a little bit of the old razzle-dazzle now, as it did look like they were prepping towards that B site a little bit more whilst applying that pressure to A, but it's been held off for now. Again, the Viper utility can be so powerful when it comes to this map. Lots of tight positioning that can be kind of held off, so to speak, and just really burn out that timer. A little bit of a spray and pray from YESicaN, trying to find some of these defenders on site. It does indeed look like they are going to try and commit to it, but Whimp has gone for this huge extension that's applied the pressure. We might actually see a rotate come through now, Krem.
Paradox now has a bit of information to work with, but Fancy aren't really going to allow him to repeat this. The counter util from the raid is perfect. The Killers actually fast backs in the wrong direction. 30 seconds left as the attack comes in. Suka's good for 1. Better still, he's able to get cover. Finished off by Blackhawk though. Visio also chimes in. Killers now starts his foray, but that's up until he onto Whimp, who is continuing to at least give some form of response. For another now. That Stinger cannot be underestimated. Missing the Seekers there, I think, was a bit...
And that certainly shows the confidence that they have in themselves going into this. That's a very good sign indeed. Line of sight being cut off immediately by that Viper wall, and so much utility being dumped again, and by Fancy, they really want to clear this space as fast as possible, setting up the Boombot kind of entryway to really allow killers to get that up close and personal gunfight under their belt. And here we go. Can they actually find them? No, they can't. They're going to yeet away via that satchel. Paradox is going to pick down to killers. It's also going to shut down any additional angle of pressure. Blackhawk waiting in this corner. No one's just willing to push him just yet. It's more of an idea of holding him off for as long as possible. So a little bit of a standstill here. I say that as everyone starts to swing out towards him. nizzy getting that pick there. Beautiful duo, if not trio plays there by the side of Fancy. The flash has to go out to try and delay that push. They know there's multiple of them swinging around there. YESicaN, beautiful pick down to Paradox as well. A 3 versus 4 as YESicaN goes a little bit wild with it. BADlove takes down Suka, but Fisio is there to retaliate by himself, and once again a 1vx for the side of Revenant. Can they make it work this time though? Again, baiting out these all-important 1 versus 1s when you're in these 1vx situations. It's going to be difficult with that Viper wall up in front of you. It's hunting for some of these heads of these players. But again, the crossfires that can be held here now. There's one at least, but there we go. The swing out from YESicaN. Beautiful positioning from the side.
Yes, Revenant now go into a round with very little weaponry, but they have a lot of ults to work with. The Tour de Force comes out from BADlove. Will it be enough to at least hold this retake on a blackhawk? Hit by pretty much everything there. Killers will deliver that killing blow. And apart from that close angle held by Paradox, this A site has fallen.
As indeed, but Whimp has very much cottoned on to the fact that Killers is getting this pressure every time, and well, actually is not going to be able to contest it because Killers getting that pick there and no immediate refrag from his teammates, and nizzy taking down Logi is at least something, and there we go. There's more. A little bit uncomfortable right now for Revenant. They really need to get some of these rounds on their board, and well, there we go. We are actually going to hear the Viper's pick get opened, and that's going to really delay any chance of a push there. And that's at least going to hopefully give them a little bit of momentum now, because
Blackhawk.
maybe they can go for a little bit of sheep herding here. Really push them towards that B site where 3 of them are ready and waiting. Oh no, Blackhawk falls down. YESicaN, beautiful opening pick there. And it isn't traded out yet. BADlove does appear to be trying to go for the trade, but it's not coming through just yet. There we go. YESicaN, a second one now. And already, despite the Viper's Pit, despite that delay to what they thought was going to be an A execute, it's already looking a little bit rocky to the side of Revenant. There we go. Fisio taking out Logi as well, so no more pit on that A side. And this is going to really maintain the distraction and really make Paradox aware that it still could indeed come in from A.
This is... my heart goes out to Blackhawk. He's hit by the snake bite there, and then forced into a position where he's then pre-fired. And then, of course, the utility from Suka means he can't run. As you mentioned, he's being bullied right now.
Left.
Paradox now alone in lamps. Sees the Boombot. Boombot's going to see him. He tries to run. Killers will kill as Whimp... they have to Whimp out. As Fancy get ready to make it 7.
Flawless.
And there we go, a flawless. Even if Blackhawk was to get the kill there, they can't really do anything about it.
You're absolutely right now for Fancy. This is where things get interesting. Up against another rough bite from Revenant. I want to highlight how last round as well, Fancy made that flawless. But you need to remember, they only took about 30, 40 damage for the whole team against the Viper's Pit and a full buy. That's worrying for Fancy now. Instantly there on the open. YESicaN. Despite being in the Astra, he's been ruthless with these openings. Logi now has to back off. Judge in hand. But at these ranges, it's such a circumstantial weapon that it could very well just be exploited.
Could be exploited indeed, but it really depends on whether Fancy or where the tight angle being held, because I think, yeah, rightly so, Logi is just going to hold that tight angle to try and work the most. But again, if you've got duo swings potentially coming at you, how well will that work out? Only time can tell. BADlove for now going for what could be a massive, huge flank, and oh no, actually Killer is going to shut it down. That is so unfortunate, because that really could set more momentum in the favor of Revenant. At least Logi gets that pick there, but again, that execute is coming in thick and fast onto the A side. Suka managing to take down blackhawk as well. It is all looking so rocky right now, yet again for Revenant, but that's certainly going to benefit them. Suka falling down as Paradox gets one pick. Can he get another? Spike is down, so they again need to go for this retake as fast as possible. But what util do they have in pocket? They still have the ulti on Paradox, but do you really want to waste it in this kind of situation?
Player standing.
Killer S taking out Paradox anyway, so no ulti this time, but Logi manages to get one. Can they bait out more 1v1s here? Looking for the heads of these players. Unaware that nizzy may be on a little flank here. Lamps, can they shut them out? Yes, they can! Ooh. Can they get the final one though? Or will they have to stick that defuse? Here we go. It's going to have to be a little bit of a gunfight here. They managed to get the pick, but they know they can't go for the defuse, so at least they've taken a little bit of a stop when it comes to hitting that.
Saves the Vandal. It's going to help them economically. When you're 8-0 down, you need every bit of cash you can get your hands on. And for Logi, it's going to be a fairly slow start. Able to retrieve the ult orb now, just one away from a Viper's Pit. But this is up against the 4 ultimates readily available for Fancy here, including that null command, with Suka just one away from getting a Nightfall as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very curious as to how this engagement is going to go along BADlove. There's no immediate push just yet, but once that cloud cover drops, it's going to get a little bit spicy. But Revenant, rightly so, are playing it very safe, very passive. They don't want to risk anything too soon. I'm surprised to see that A control is pretty much held mostly in that showers corner right now. Both players being really backed up against the wall, when they know how important that lamp control is seeming to be getting. I'm going to see a little flank through lamps there by Physio, and this could be a little bit nasty if they get behind those players. But as I say that, the collapse starts to try and be attempted around B. So again, it's this case of, will this rotation come through? And ready and waiting for them will be YESicaN. So this could be pretty nasty pretty quickly, Graham.
The orbital strike now is going to buy so much space. Blackhawk, he needs to time this to perfection. Prowler isn't going to hit him, but the follow-up! Such a strong no command there, going to guarantee the plant. What a wise decision from nizzy. And with the Viper's Pits on top of that, this is catastrophic for Revenant. Yes, they have that orbital strike still, but suddenly its effectiveness has been plucked from the round. nizzy, good for Logi as well, peeking above the smoke. Can't quite see anyone else though, but the suppression is going to continue to try and force Fancy into uncomfortable positions. Orbital strike, not quite going to land. Physio, he's able to survive it. He's able to brave the storm now. Paradox also trying to make his way into this pit. But what good can they do? It's BADlove to shut down Suka into the 4v4. The time right now is proving to be cruel. Revenants, they get the hell out of there as Fancy go 9-0 up.
That is a significant round differential. Really good positioning of Fancy until the very end there.
Face your fear!
Very aggressive once again. Logi in the Viper's Pit's going to be spotted out, as will the Showstopper, just removing Logi. Eventually, Paradox will be able to chime back onto Killers with the paint shells, but that's going to slow the attack. It's not going to stop it. As Fancy commit the Cosmic Divide. The counter Showstopper comes out from Paradox. He isn't quite able to land the jumps. Eventually he goes through. Physio! Nasty shot finishes the job. Whimp's able to strike back, but nonetheless, it's the operator through the smoke, almost going point blank. Luckily, YESicaN's there to restore order. They go through the teleporter. They go through the teleporter so quickly, Blackhawk won't hear this. Oh, this is terrifying now for Revenant. Luckily, that's that dagger is actually going to give and betray Fancy's intentions. The spike goes down. Blackhawk, the player who has been on the receiving end of just every piece of Fancy utility, now has a shot at redemption in this 1 versus 2.
Shot of redemption indeed, but it's still a difficult battle at that. Again, the tight corner. This is usually the part that you'd be most worried about, but they're able to sneak nice and easily into the site without any congestion just yet. Said the attackers deciding to really hold themselves back, and the smoke's going to go out. The pre-fire isn't immediately coming through just yet, so that's at least something. Again, difficult position. There's one at least. Can you try and stick it? Ideally in this position. Oh, that's unfortunate. Again, that's the issue sometimes with that cover.
What on earth are we watching right now? For Revenant, this is every nightmare come true. Logi going to be suppressed instantly. Killers going for a fairly fast push through almost the trendles of his own paint shells there. With such fast lamp control, what do Revenant do to respond here? Yes, they have showers control, but is that something? Is that a trade they want to make here? Because whether they like it or not, that spike's going down.
Here we go. YESicaN getting that pick there onto Paradox as the spike is firmly plunked down. Beautiful shot there by KillerS because, again, waiting. Whimp does fall, but BADlove a nasty shot there. Sit down, fellas, and that's at least going to alleviate some of this pressure. It's going to get rid of those additions, those dimensions that Fancy are so good at getting. Like a little bit of your hit and swing, but there we go. Suka actually shuts it down, as does nizzy. 11 rounds.
And now you sort of look at their investment going into the final round of this half. Guardians, Spectres. I mean, hey, if they can bring it down to one player with Vandals, maybe they can do the better with these guns. Vicio good for the first. I think the vulnerable's just been avoided by Logi. He was going to continue the aggression now. Not quite able to retrieve the Vandal. However, the exchange of weaponry is going to leave him to run into Suka as Fancy now start outmaneuvering Revenant here. BADlove, the swing is timed very badly. Somehow he gets away in that, though. And with the forwarded angle now of Whimp, Revenant's aggression may have potentially caught Fancy off guard here. Everyone but Killers.
I have the spike.
I mean, again, Killers is just having a tear with it at the moment, isn't he? Like, it is a little bit nuts at this point. Looks like once again they're going to try and go for an A collapse, but hopefully Paradox and BADlove can have a nice little cross angle. Well, I say they can have a nice little cross angle. BADlove's the other side of the map, so actually it's poor old Paradox left by himself, rightfully so, gazing towards Labs just in case that second dimension comes through. Again, seems to be a little bit worried about Showers pressure, but that's not where the pressure is coming from. Paradox is coming from multiple angles here. YESicaN taking you out, and BADlove aware of the mistake of being the other side. There's at least one, but no. Suka's going to shut that uphill battle.
It will be. And for Fancy, all they only need to get lucky once, and then that's it. Game over. If we see Revenant start to craft a comeback. For now, though, Revenant fairly slow start. BADlove looking for a head here. nizzy is going to oblige him with a quick jump spot, but nothing just yet. Flash going to come his way. He'll be able to avoid it. Suka able to get out of Hooker thanks to that flash. In fact, even being a bit cheeky going for these sort of mid-air attempts on BADlove. Yeah. It was just being spoiled for choice when it comes to these headshots. The C's won't quite land, so he'll back off for the time being. Before re-aggressing into Suka's loving arms. Man advantage for Fancy. Killers on the other side of this wall looks to double down now once this Astra smoke fades.
100%. Again, a little bit of a quiet before the storm at the moment. Revenants, the pressure's on, but they need to commit to an execute. They need to go for it. They need to bring that util. Whimp getting ready with this flash, so that's certainly going to be a nice collapse. Here we go. The fire is on, but YESicaN and Vicio ready and waiting. Whimp and blackhawk falling. Can the trade come? No, it can't, because YESicaN now on a 3K, and that is a flawless and a disgusting way to finish this series. A 13-0 victory after Revenant tried so hard to claw it back. There can only be one winner.